Oregon. Yes, that's right. That's really great, isn't it? Because we've often got Katie here who lives in Cheltenham in the UK. Then you live in Cheltenham Street in Portland. Okay, so I'll close the chat. And it's 7 o'clock, so let's begin. Yeah. Maybe tonight, before I say anything, let's just take a moment or two to settle. So just dropping in on ourselves, a few breaths, a few deeper in-breaths, breathing on the out-breath, arriving, settling. Letting go of what's been in our minds, bodies, hearts just before the session, and seeing if we can arrive in the present. Okay, good. So I'll just say a few words of introduction and then we'll go into a practice together. Just sort my lighting out. Okay, so for those of you who haven't been before, this is a half-hour session in community with like-minded people, and we've been doing it probably for 2 years now. Yeah, this is March, started March 2020. There's many people here who have come almost every week for that whole time, which is amazing. And it's an open space, whether you've meditated before or not. And usually I or whoever's leading it says a few words at the beginning, and then we have a guided practice. Yeah, so tonight I just wanted to draw out how we might deal with what's happening in the Ukraine. I'm sure many of us are very, very aware of things, very, very aware of the war that's unfolding, the horror of it, absolute horror of it, and also the extraordinary acts of kindness that we're hearing about as well. And even acts of beauty. I saw something the other day on Facebook of a woman in a house that had obviously been bombed. I mean, it wasn't complete. She was in the house, obviously with someone else with the phone and the camera, and she was playing her piano, her grand piano. She had to take all the rubble off it, play the piano, and it was the last time she played it before she left the house. It was just so extraordinarily beautiful pianist. So your heart just gets torn open by that kind of thing, the pain, the beauty, the horror, the hatred, the love. It's all there, isn't it? It's very heart opening in ways that are hard to bear for some of us. So maybe we shut down, or maybe we get horrified. Those are the two responses that humans usually have to very, very difficult things. We close off, numb, or we get overwhelmed. And of course, neither of those responses are particularly helpful to us or anybody else. So in this practice tonight, I just wanted us to practice building capacity in ourselves, building resilience in ourselves, building a sense of groundedness, presence in ourselves by coming into the body, being with body awareness, being with our breath, building stability. So that's one foundation. And then the other foundation is connection. So we use that stability, we use that place of groundedness, of strength, of courage. We use that then as the basis, if you like, of opening our awareness to include all the people affected by the war. We've done this the last couple of weeks, and I want to bring the Ukraine war into this space, because another thing that can happen is we think, oh, I don't want to think about it, I just want to meditate. But it is happening. So let's bring it in and let's face it, as it were, build capacity and build love. And then that will have an effect on the people that we come into contact with. help them feel a bit more grounded, a bit more loving. And I do believe if we intentionally bring well-wishing into our meditation practice and we imagine it flowing out into the world and all beings who are affected by the war being bathed in our intention of well-wishing, I do believe it has an effect. I can't tell you how, it's not scientific, but I do believe it in some mysterious way has an effect, and that we're far, far more interconnected than we realize. So that'll be the practice tonight. We're grounding, stabilizing, and then opening and sending well-wishing. And we're training ourselves as we do this. We're training ourselves in resilience, capacity in ourselves to bear life, and capacity in ourselves to be stable in the present. And we're training ourselves in love. We're training ourselves in open-heartedness. Yeah. So I won't say anything else, and we'll just go into the practice. So for those of you who are here for the first time, I always say that you can choose really whatever position you want to meditate in, and the main things to consider are to be as comfortable as possible and yet alert. So if lying down you think you're just going to go to sleep, you might like to sit. You can do it standing. You could do slow walking up and down the room if you would like to. If you're in an upright position, we're looking for alignment. So maybe I'll just quickly show you how I'm sitting. I've got an upright chair and I'm letting my weight go down through the sitting bones of my buttocks. So I'm not slouching back. I'm not overarching, but there's a sense of dropping down through the sitting bones. And then if I do that, my spine can float up and my head, I can imagine there's a golden thread at the top of the back of my head. And when I do that, there's this lovely sense of release through the base of the skull. Chin tucks in just a little bit. And then there's a sense of releasing the body into gravity. Okay, good. So let's begin. And I've got a really remarkable poem by Simon Armitage, who's the Poet Laureate for the UK at the moment. And he's written this in response to the war, and it's very, very powerful. So we'll sit for a moment and then I'll read out the poem. And it's called Resistance. It's war again. A family It's war again. A family carries its family out of a pranged house under a burning thatch. The next scene smacks of archive newsreel, platforms and trains. Never again, never again. Toddlers passed over heads and shoulders, lifetimes stowed in luggage racks. It's war again. Unmistakable smoke on the near horizon, mistaken for thick fog. Fingers crossed. An old blue tractor tows an armoured tank into no man's land. It's the ceasefire hour. Godspeed the columns of winter coats and fur-lined hoods, the high wire walk over buckled bridges, managing cases and bags, balancing west and east. Godspeed. It's war again. The woman in black gives sunflower seeds to the soldier, insists his marrow will nourish the national flower. In dreams, let bullets be birds, let cluster bombs burst into flocks. False news is news with the pity edited out. It's war again. An air raid siren can't fully mute the cathedral bells. Let's call that hope. An air raid siren can't fully mute the cathedral bells. Let's call that hope. So to begin with, let's spend some time really settling into the position that we've chosen. Allowing our weight to settle down into the support, the chair, the bed, the floor. Releasing a little bit more with each out breath. Yielding. Like a tree with roots going down into the earth. Stable and strong. Seeing if we can soften the tendency to grip in the body, in the heart, and the mind. Soften, yield, rest. Receive support. And allowing our awareness to slide out of the head and to fill the body. Moving away from being preoccupied with thoughts, we can fill our awareness with the experience of being embodied. Sensations, contact with the chair, the floor, and breathing in the body. Allowing the body to expand a little bit in all directions on the in-breath, subside on the out-breath. No need to force or strain or alter your breathing. Welcoming vitality with each in-breath. And then releasing, holding on with each out-breath. Dropping back into gravity, dropping back into the chair, the bed, the floor with each out-breath. So this rhythm of energizing, letting go of gripping, energizing, letting go of gripping again and again. So we begin to rest in a more fluid experience of being embodied. To deepen this, let's allow our awareness now to fill the feet and the legs. You might imagine that awareness is like water and it's drenching and saturating the feet and the legs. Seeing if you can be inside them rather than thinking about them in an abstract way. It's more that we're directly right inside the experience of the feet and the legs. A cloud of sensations. You've got discomfort, just noticing if there's any tendency to harden against the discomfort, to push it away. And in the noticing, seeing if you can soften a little bit. Let the discomfort just be part of the flow of many different sensations. Coming now to the buttocks. Seeing if we can rest our awareness right inside the buttocks. And if we're sitting or lying, seeing if we can let the buttocks be soft, yielding our weight through this area. If we're standing or walking, letting the buttocks be soft. Sense of grounded stability through this area. Now let awareness fill the whole torso, the front, the back, the sides, inside, the surface. See if we can get a sense of the volume of the torso. So we're resting inside the space, inside the torso. Space opening a little bit in all directions on the in-breath, subsiding a little bit in all directions on the out-breath. Now coming to the shoulders, the arms and the hands. So let the hands be supported if we're sitting or lying, resting in the lap, on the legs, on the body, or at the side of the body if we're lying down. Just choosing a position that's comfortable. If you're standing, walking, letting the hands hang lightly at the sides of the body. Let's allow the shoulders to fall away from the midline of the body, falling into gravity. The arms to fall away from the shoulders. Let's allow this whole area to be full of awareness, drenched, saturated in awareness. So again, we're letting go of gripping, holding on, fighting, and we're resting in the body, in the flow of experience. And now coming to the neck and the head. If we're sitting, just checking in on the angle of the head. Is it poised on top of the spine? Not tipping forwards or backwards or side to side. If we're lying down, checking we're giving the weight of the head up to the support, the pillow, the cushion. Letting the jaw and the tongue and the lips be soft. The eyes soft. And broadening to be aware of the whole body. The whole body sitting here, lying here, standing or walking. Really seeing if we can be inside the body with our awareness. Filling our awareness with sensations, the energetic sense of the body, maybe tingling or buzzing in parts of the body, temperature, warmth or coolness, sense of the body resting into its position and being held and supported. So we can build strength, build robustness with this kind of present moment awareness. Every time we notice we're swept away by thoughts, in the noticing, we can invite our awareness back inside the body, inside this quality of stability, of rest. If we've got pain or discomfort in our experience, let's see if we can bring kindness and care towards that experience. Maybe with breathing, every in-breath and out-breath, bathing this discomfort in kindness. Or it might be more imagined, bringing to mind the way we would naturally treat a loved one who is having this experience, and then turning that back into ourselves, gifting ourselves that attitude, that care. And now staying grounded, centered, stable, let's allow the circumference of our awareness to open, to expand. And inviting in all of us here, perhaps first of all of us, there's 98 of us, all showing up, or wanting to train our minds, train our hearts. Many different countries. Wishing one another well. Now opening our awareness to include all the people affected by the war. People in Ukraine. People who have fled Ukraine. all the aid workers, the people taking in refugees in so many different countries, including the UK. People in Russia, too, experiencing the impact in various ways. They're all humans like ourselves, with hopes and dreams, fears, regrets, a simple longing to love and to be loved. Let's imagine our well-wishing is flowing around the world. And careful not to force or strain. We're staying grounded and centered, and it's more we're just opening. Opening, caring, loving. At any point you feel overwhelmed, then backing off, coming back to bring the weight of the body to the foreground of awareness. Contact with the floor of the bed, the chair. So we're practicing this sort of balance of stability and groundedness, resilience in ourselves, and open-heartedness, and a willingness to engage with what's happening in the world. Finding the sweet spot between denial and overwhelm. Stable open-heartedness. Now bringing the weight of the body to the foreground of awareness. We're not closing off from all the people we've just been including in our practice, but let's let them fade a little bit into the background. Really feeling into the groundedness in the body, breathing in the body, yielding into the support. Letting go of any effort whatsoever, and let's just absorb the effect of the practice. When we're ready, we can bring a little bit of movement into the body, maybe the feet, the hands first of all, and notice any temptation to immediately grip, immediately contract and harden against our experience. See if we can keep it soft and fluid. Coming to bigger movements in our own time, opening our eyes, bringing the practice to a close. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing the space tonight. Feels more important than ever that we work on our minds and our hearts as an altruistic act. We're doing it for ourselves, but of course it really has an effect on all the people we come into contact with and all the people they come into contact with. And as I said before, I do really believe that doing these kind of meditation practices does have some kind of benefit in the world. Yeah. So for those of you who haven't been before, you can just slip away if you want to. But what we often do is we stay on for a little bit and people write in the chat box what they noticed in the practice. I read it out because we often have people who are visually impaired, and it means that they can fully participate without having to worry about their screen reader. Maybe talking over the top of me, which can happen. And Ollie is in the background. Ollie's Breathworks, really wonderful Breathworks team member who's always here doing the tech. So big thank you to Ollie, as always. And we also are determined to keep these sessions and community practice free. So Ollie's going to put a donation link in the chat. And if you felt like you wanted to make a donation, then that would always be greatly appreciated. It costs a lot of money to run a platform like this, like our community practice. Good. So let me just see what we've got here in the chat box. I think various thank yous. And then Eileen, that was really calming and grounding. Thank you. Lorian, thank you, Vijamala, Ollie, and everyone. I certainly feel more relaxed. Deborah, lovely, can feel the love tonight. Meg, thank you so much. We'll have to leave. It was so powerful. Wendy, thank you for a lovely practice. Julie, very relaxing after a stressful day. That's good. And likewise, Amanda, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Feeling a lot calmer after a stressful day. Hilly, thank you for this belief of benefit to others in the world. That helps me believe and practice this. Yeah, it's all very mysterious, isn't it? But I do really, really believe it. Tracy, more embodied community, grateful. And Fleur, both sadness and nourishment. Thanks for the interconnecting and well-wishing. Kathy, thank you for sharing the space, feeling grateful, grounded and connected. And Kim Lin, that was wonderful. Very good, doing a practice on the balance between empathy and being overwhelmed. Good. Carolyn, thank you so much. Lovely to be with you all. And Ed, there is so much power to community. The distances mean nothing. Today needs what we do here. Yeah, so Ed's in Canada in the snow, which is, hundreds of miles away. So that's so moving, isn't it? That distances mean nothing. Today needs what we do here. And Jeannie, thank you as always, Vijamala. Do you go through your time change this week? We went through it last weekend, so I had to realize it was an hour later for us than usual. So our time change is the last weekend in March, I believe. So a couple of weeks away. But this is a very muddly time of year, isn't it? With the different time zones. Yeah, and Jeannie's over there in Portland. Yeah. Maria Jose, my heart stays bleeding for so much suffering, yet it feels good to bring it forth. Thank you. Tracy, this was my first time and it really helped me. Oh, it's really good to hear, Tracy, and welcome. Joe was able to bear the pain and shoulder without flinching. It became less bothersome as I relaxed and focused on other parts of my body. Thank you. Yeah, that's so interesting, isn't it? That our attitude to pain can change our perception of the pain. Paula, thank you so much, Vidyamala and Ollie. Feeling so peaceful and grounded. Katie, I feel like I've built a little more resilience and found the sweet spot of emotion that little bit more. Yeah, that's brilliant. I love this word, sweet spot. It's kind of, we know what it tastes like, don't we? Eva, thank you. I feel more relaxed and connected. Much love today. God bless you. And Lynn, thank you, Vidyamala and all at Breathworks for making this possible and making the last 2 years so much more bearable and keeping us all grounded and present. Well, the pleasure is mine. I've got to practice with all of you once a week for the last 2 years, which has massively helped me. And then Vajraketu, thanks Vidyamala, lovely as ever. Vajraketu and Padmashuri. Liz, thank you. First time here in a while. Feels wonderful to be here again. Liz, thank you for bringing Ukraine into our hearts. Dermot, reaching for the balance between self and others, between acceptance and rejecting pain, introspection and awareness. Yeah, it's all about balance, isn't it? Elena, sorry for being late. It was unusual but stabilizing to practice it standing for the first part. After days spent on the floor due to pain, it felt good to remind my body how to be upright. Opening up for the people in Ukraine was unusual too. Life beyond pain, personal or human. I'm glad you got upright. Hope it was good for your body. Catherine, the idea of not pushing something away, the war, really resonated with me tonight. The idea of sitting with something, however uncomfortable, and being with the emotions that arise was powerful. And I will try to generalize this learning more. Thank you. It's wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody, for all those comments. Yeah, and I feel quite strongly that our meditation shouldn't be a place where we cut off from the world or cut off from what's happening. It's a place where we engage with the world. It's a place where we cultivate this both the capacity to be with it, but also the love to meet it. Very, very important. So that meditation's not this thing just for me, but it's a thing for all of us. And I am increasingly thinking that doing this kind of thing for half an hour, like we do tonight, it is an altruistic act. We think we're doing it for ourselves, but it's an altruistic act because it will affect how we are around other people. And imagine if everybody took responsibility for how they are around other people, then the world would be quite a different place, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's leave it there. And I hope you have a good week and you can bring these learnings into your week, bring these qualities into your week. So if you want to unmute to say goodbye, then that's always lovely. And yeah, really very, very best wishes to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you very, very
Bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Media. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
You can do